Bruce Lee, one of the most recognized martial artists in history. Also, he's a pretty good actor. You couldn't say that his acting detracted from his martial arts because, well, his punches and kicks were so fast, the cameras had trouble capturing them. You can't say that about what I just did. 5/100ths of a second. That's how fast they were. That's insane. But you know what's really crazy? Bruce Lee died at only 32 years old. Life is temporary and we don't know how long we have. Just for fun, let's imagine that someone finds the key to immortality next year after asking ChatGPT.
You see, I typed it in here. What is the key to immortality? And it just says to eat pizza every day. Look, right here.
So the protocol is at least 3 slices of pepperoni per day. Mushrooms optional. And that should allow us to live forever.
Even if you happen to live forever, consider that nearly all of your life experiences would still be temporary. Here are some examples. Career. It's exceedingly rare to have one career for your entire life. Even when people do, they almost all retire, making it temporary all the same. Emotions. Human emotion fluctuates constantly, moment by moment. Sad, happy, angry, anxious, excited, afraid. The highest emotions can be crushed by bad news. The lowest emotions can be conquered by time, a good friend, or ice cream. Temporarily, of course. Relationships. People move, people change. Even the closest relationships can be temporary. Marriage. Till death do us part. And it's so special when that actually happens because it doesn't usually last that long. Health. Even someone in perfect health can experience surprise illness or injury. If the person then recovers, it makes their perfect health and the setback temporary experiences. So you could say that life is a temporary experience full of temporary experiences. And I know it can feel disheartening to think that exerting effort for any result is just going to be temporary. In fact, this recently happened to me. In early 2012, I put all of my knowledge and experience about building habits and momentum together to create the best personal run of my life. I was exercising once or often twice a day. My diet was impeccable. I didn't drink or gamble the entire time. I was a machine for several months in a row. I genuinely felt unstoppable. And I was so freaking wrong. And I've been goofing off, but it was actually the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. My mom called me one day and she told me that my dad was having back pain. And I didn't know it then, but that pain was from his lung cancer, which had progressed. The next 2 months were a whirlwind of pain, stress, and trauma for me and my family. My dad died, and I was emotionally crushed. Losing my dad made my great run pretty immediately turn into a pretty bad run. And why? Well, while I will usually lean on my good habits in difficult times, this was different because for some reason, losing my dad made me temporarily lose my sense of purpose. And if you don't have a sense of purpose, you don't have a direction to head to. You're just aimless. You don't know what to do with yourself or with your life. People who don't have direction just tend to wander around and find life's cheapest and most basic pleasures, which are bad habits. So my seemingly invincible run turned out to be pretty fragile. In the ensuing months, it was a lot like Gandalf when he spiraled down the chasm fighting with the Balrog.
You know what they awoke in the darkness of
this fight, though, I finally understood the surprising yet true path to lasting strength. If everything is temporary, that means everything is also reversible, for worse and for better. Balrogs are temporary too. But there is one thing in life that is not temporary. Let me just say, real power is intermittent. I mean, we see this every single day. Think of the most powerful person in the world, in your opinion, and consider that this person needs to lie unconscious for hours every day to regain their energy. They have to sleep. Or look at Gandalf, a super powerful wizard in the Lord of the Rings universe. And yet, here he is fleeing? This doesn't mean Gandalf is weak, it's just the reality of living in a world with surprise Balrog attacks. After Gandalf conquers the Balrog, he becomes stronger than ever before, from gray to white. I'm trying to do the same here. A figurative Balrog can knock you down at any time, no matter how strong you feel. Real power is knowing that you can recover from it, and you can recover from it by using the one thing you will always have: choice. You can always choose. Even in cases in which you have little to no control over the situation, you can choose how you respond emotionally, what you say, or how you act within that scenario. For the vast majority of people, thankfully, their power to choose goes well beyond those. You can choose to start a business, to apply for your dream job, to treat yourself to a day off, to work on a new project, or whatever else you need to advance your life. After my dad died, my emotional spiral took my behavior down with it. But in the midst of this turmoil, I noticed that I still had choice the whole time. I had the power to choose a new direction in any moment. And that is powerful. And at times I did choose that. Now, don't get me wrong, I was spiraling in general pretty badly. But I would sometimes decide to work out or eat a healthy meal. I would occasionally decide to invest in my future. Now, curiously, these were the exact same choices that built my great winning streak to start the year. It's just that I wasn't making them often enough. So the power of choice is the one aspect of the human experience that isn't temporary. We can always choose our next move. When a traumatic event or unexpected setback strikes you down, you might not bounce back right away. That's okay. Even if it's not okay, it's still reality. Balrogs are everywhere. It may take longer than you want to heal and adjust, as I've recently experienced. So as your world crumbles around you, remind yourself that you can choose what to do next. It sounds obvious, I know, but when your emotions and behavior begin to spiral, life starts to feel like you're on rails. You may feel like you're doomed to repeat the same behaviors that continue the negative cycle. It's easy to forget that you have choice, so remind yourself that you do. You can choose a new direction at any time. And this is super important. Continue to remind yourself of your power to choose, even if you don't take action on it. Plant that seed, water it daily. It will grow when you're ready. You will rise again. For example, I planned to make a YouTube video probably 3 or 4 months ago, and here I am. When it comes to choice, we're talking about two sources of power. First, the power to choose your direction gives you a way out and a way forward. When I lost my sense of purpose, the problem that created was no direction. The power of choosing your direction and acting on that is what transforms lives. Every single success story, every comeback, every great story is the result of someone choosing to make a change, take a chance, or bet on themselves. Everyone can and will be bruised, beaten down, and knocked down by life. Everyone can also recover from it. So take ownership of your greatest power, choice. What will you choose to do today? If the person then recovers, it makes their perfect health and the set bath. What is a set bath? I don't